I think you're Kevin Mayer. You thought you were going to be the CEO of Disney, and then you didn't become the CEO of Disney. You found out the day that Bob Chapek got that job. Then you leave to become the CEO of TikTok, which is fast-growing, very exciting, COO of a global corporation. And now you're looking at it presiding over a fire sale with likely a key man provision in that deal that requires you to stay on as a lieutenant to Satya Nadella or Larry Ellison for a number of years. I don't mean to get like too existential here, but sometimes you just look around and say, do I want to do this for 2 years? Do I want to be somebody's lieutenant? Yeah. And I think with Mayer, we've seen he really wants a CEO job, and I think that's what he's looking for.
Yeah, I think I heard John say earlier this morning, so I'm going to quote him, life comes at you pretty fast in this case, certainly. Nilay, I'm really curious about the idea, now Julia Boorstin reporting this morning that Mayer was left out of talks with Microsoft and Oracle, and part of that had to do with talks between ByteDance's founder and CEO with Microsoft earlier. But if the company, one of its main arguments is that it has American leadership and it didn't actually bring Kevin Mayer in a substantial way to these talks, does that raise some red flags for its presence in America and whether it's going to give up full control of the company?
Well, I think if they sell it, I think that question gets resolved. I think the question that ByteDance has always had to deal with is how independent is TikTok in the United States? How independent is that data? They have made some showings. They've made some efforts to be transparent. I think Mayer came in as the new guy, and ByteDance still owns TikTok. I think the owner of the company is probably the one who wants to sell it. Obviously, there are some ties between the CEO of ByteDance and Microsoft. The real question is when it actually gets sold, which they're going to have to do it. What is the new American owner going to do to extricate it from China, to extricate it from the algorithm that has been engineered by a Chinese company, to extricate the data services that it uses? Those are huge questions. They're technologically challenging questions. They kind of limit the scope of buyers. And the answers, I think, are going to have to be very, very transparent in a way that big tech companies really do not like making transparent. We're going to have to know how they're moving their data, where it's going, and how that algorithm works.
Hey, Nilay, I sort of wonder, is TikTok worth less without Kevin Mayer? I mean, here's a guy who was head of Disney streaming. Disney Plus has been this huge success. A lot of people expected him to be CEO of Disney. That's a pretty good guy to have on your team, I would think. Whether you're Microsoft or Oracle, you don't have a huge consumer digital business outside of gaming if you're Microsoft, or at all if you're Oracle. The whole idea of him, not the whole idea, but a big part of it was to put this competent American face on this business, and now he's gone. If you're Oracle, who's going to run this thing? If you're Microsoft, who's going to run this thing, right?
Yeah, the woman in charge, Pappas, she's very well regarded. People inside of TikTok like her, but she does not have that profile that Kevin Mayer brought to the company. And if you think about how you might monetize or grow TikTok, regardless of its challenges, it looks like a lot of content deals. It looks like a lot of advertising deals. It looks like expanding the universe of TikTok beyond the one app to be the force in culture in multiple mediums that it seemed destined to be. That's a big ask for tech companies. We are watching tech companies try to get into content left and right, try to make that kind of big cultural impact left and right. And most of them are not doing so great. Apple has not done so great with Apple TV+. Amazon has had fits and starts with Prime programming. So I think they're going to need to hire someone to come in as a lieutenant and run a media company inside one of these big tech companies. Just looking at the landscape, tech companies are not great at this.